I grew up in a small town called Manchester by the Sea. Some of you may have seen that movie. I was a 2-minute walk from the harbor. I spent every summer day on that harbor. When I was 5, I was on the back of Captain Dusty's lobster boat. When I was 12, my mother was teaching me business and bookkeeping. When I was 14, I got up every day at 4:45 and hauled 75 oak lobster traps by hand. When I was 16, I went offshore on these big 115-foot lobster boat. I ended up being the first mate on that boat. I was making $4,000 a week as a high school kid. I loved the sea. I went to a merchant engineering school. I graduated, and then I was lucky enough. I got on the highest paid merchant ship. Was my first job. I was so excited. And I traveled the world, and I learned to party, and I learned to drink because I worked 1 month. I took a month off. I'd go for 4 months and take 4 months off, and I made a lot of money. It was a lot of fun. And then one day I was back in my little town. I had a couple of months off, and I was at Louis' Bar, known as Table 4 in that little town, Manchester by the Sea. And I closed up that bar that night at about 12:30. I got in my Porsche and I drove home. Well, there was a turn in the road in my car, and I didn't make that turn. We went airborne 144 feet in the air and hit a tree 15 feet, bounced off that tree, flipped 2.5 times, and bam, that Porsche landed right on top of me. Upside down. It's a good thing I didn't have a seatbelt on because I wouldn't be talking to you today. My head was sticking out. Next thing, 15 minutes later, the police show up. Flashlight in my eyes. Peter, not again. They knew I partied. I went to the hospital. 2 bones sticking out of my legs. That's it. They patched me up. I went home. That night, it was time for another drink. How would I get to the bar? The bar was at the bottom of the hill. How would I get home? Well, being a good engineer and a seafarer, I rigged up the crutches with the old lobster buoy, and I put a stern light on that wheelchair for safety, and I went down to that bar, and I stayed for 10:30 at night. And I in-towed the wheelchair, 10:30, going home, no accident that night. 3.5 years passed of this party life. Going to sea, party. Barney, I called Barney. He was a good friend of mine, drinking guy and a seafaring friend. I said, I got to go to the Hill, Barney. Barney knew what the Hill was. It was a 30-day program. It was expensive. Barney knew I was serious. He said, I'll be there in 10 minutes, Peter. We drove to the liquor store, the very first thing we did. We got a bottle of Kahlua, and we went to the Hill. I celebrated leaving the past behind and going to a future of the unknown. We got into the Hill, signed up. Barney went out that door slammed, boom, and I was there for 30 days. 18 years later, because I went to the Hill and I knew there was something bigger and better beyond that horizon. I cut the anchors of the past and I grew a business, a multi-million-dollar jewelry business, because I went for my horizon. What is your horizon?